Hi folks, it's a peculiar morning. The electricity will be off, so the internet will be off while we have a new consumer unit power board. The old switchboard is being replaced for safety reasons, so we'll be without power for 2 or 3 hours. But I've got about 3 hours on this camera. No, I haven't got 98 minutes. Probably just enough time to do this. Oh well, maybe it'll work until it's turned off. That'll be turned off now. Yeah, okay. Right, so a watercolour winter scene. It's all starting to melt now. We've had the usual disruptions when we get a bit of snow. The reason is we're the laughing stock of Europe, because a lot of other more northern countries get it far worse than we do, but we don't get a lot of it very often, especially this far south, in the southeast. So it's not really worth the money for the occasional disruption it all causes. We usually have to make do with wrong sort of rain or wrong sort of snow. But anyway, let's wet the paper. This is a bit of the £90. I've got 3 packets of the rough version of this, but this is quite rough. Okay, that's soaking. I can't use the hairdryer to speed it up, so we'll do what we can for this. Alright, we're putting some colour in the sky. It's funny, I was walking up the road yesterday to get some shopping, and everything, when it's snowing, when you're covered with white, that everything looks grey and drab, and you really have to look for the warm tints. But it dawned on me, not for the first time, that the reason it's like that is because everything that goes up against the white, the brilliant white of the snow, will look much darker in comparison because of the contrast. So it's all about contrast painting, the lights against darks, well, at least figurative or representation painting. So let's put in a bit of raw sienna. This is my usual style, quite strong, and just let it just have fun with your paint and just enjoy it. Don't try and be too clever and put too much in if you're a beginner, because you'll just make it difficult for yourself. Less is more with my idea of painting. Leave it out rather than put it in. Now let's have a bit of alizarin with that and see what we come up with. Alizarin takes a little bit of scrubbing, but lovely. The brush is getting old now. It's splitting. I must have been using it for nearly a year. I've got another one ready to go, so I'll just eventually consign this to the hake graveyard on my desk. I've used hakes. I have our Legion. Look, that's 3 of them. They eventually wear out. The hairs start coming out, and they don't behave themselves. But if you're starting out with the hake, persevere with it. It's not an easy brush to get used to. It's not like a nice floppy sable, you know, that behaves itself. The hake does funny things. Also, it holds a lot of colour, a lot of water, and some people have been known to slit their throats when the water falls out of it and ruins their painting. So be aware of that sort of thing. Right, let's put in some Payne's Grey and some alizarin, and it's a bit stronger. Alizarin, that warms up the grey, and as we coming down into the snow, we can paint that as well, because this all dries much lighter than when we put it on. So we make allowances for that, and we make allowances for the fact that the paper is growing. And so we just put it flat, put it flat. But it's pretty tough. It's 100% rag. It might only be £90, but it punches way above its weight. It comes from Ken Bromley. He's got batches of it. I don't know if he's sold out. He sold out of the rough. We sorted that lot out for him. But then he came up with this, with another lot of. I'll show you. I wrote on this it's Winsor Newton, £90. Not. That means NOT. That means not cold, not hot pressed. If it's hot pressed, it would be much smoother, and we don't like smooth. We like rough. Now we've got a nice sky developing. We've got the cloud, the gravity pulling this down, pulling the paint down, and it will all soften, and you just get lovely, lovely effects. So we're going to put in some simple trees, so blue and red, light red. It's quite a strong colour, the light red. These are all student Cotman colours, but they're good quality. I've always used them. Ron Ranson swore by them, that's why we used them. But you can use artist quality if you wish, if you're rich enough. But I would recommend the palette for everyday work. Look, we've got some birds coming there. Look. We've got cadmium yellow light. It could be cadmium yellow medium, or it can be lemon yellow, but it's a stock yellow. Raw sienna, we use a lot of that. Alizarin crimson does that lovely warm grey for clouds, and you got light red and ultramarine do the same. This ultramarine, burnt umber, very, very deep reddy brown. Payne's grey, very versatile, or black. I use black as well from time to time. And burnt sienna, which is my extra colour, which I absolutely love. So let's just go, just put in these background trees. Just wondering if I just leave that gap in there, the ground undulating slightly, and we'll let that nurdle. That will come down, but that'll form a sort of shadow. Now we're putting some rich sienna in that, and a bit of yellow, and a bit of the Payne's grey. Just warm up some of this. When you do it, you need rich, thick paint. Otherwise, you'll find that it just vanishes into the wet, and it won't have any impact at all. So whatever you put on, make sure it's nice and strong, thick mix. A couple of rich greens in here for evergreens. Let's just have a yellow in there. Oh, that's gone on like oil paint. Well, that's okay. There's a bit of blue to that, and turn it into a green. That was a bit of an accident, but never mind. So at this stage, you just don't know how it's going to turn out. and we can do some detail in that. Let's just lift out some, a bit wet at the moment. Do that in a minute if I remember. Okay, so now we want a bit of detail in the foreground. So we'll just put a bit of bluey stuff. I think having done so many, I have a repertoire of things that I can draw on. I mean, rely on for my models. I don't have to constantly look at reference material and copy, in other words. Alright, let's put a path coming in here. And the bushes. I just like doing these. I was going to do some knife paintings, but I changed my mind. The snow is melting now, and now I'd really like to dry that, but alas, I've got no electricity. Can you imagine life without electric, eh? Watching a couple of documentaries yesterday on the BBC that on cities by the sea. One was on Brighton, which was fascinating. I love Brighton. It's only about, as the crow flies, or even by road, it's only about 38 miles, less than that, to this marvellous seaside resort. Brash, bold, liberal in the sense of free expression, rather than liberal as in politics. Okay. Now we just need just a little bit of stuff just sort of sticking through here and there. So that's just going around along there with some bushes. I'm just having fun with the paint. Put in some foliage. Okay, we'll do the same on the other side, but a bit further back. Now, blue, just blue. Stronger mix of the colour that's behind there. So you always need a cloth to take off the excess moisture. Okay, let's strengthen up some of this. Okay, and then we'll put in some of that along here, along this snowy bank, although I haven't left a lot of room for snow in there. Probably going a little bit straight there, so let's just be another bank coming up here. Let's change that. Get there nice. rough ground and warm. Oh, that's a bit better. Look, we've got a lot of tumble tangle mess in there. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's just get a bit of shadow in there. Okay, that's still very wet, so this paper is very absorbent, and without the hairdryer to help it along, it's a bit of a challenge, to say the least. I'm thinking of doing a fairly large knife painting, like of the Cornish coast, made up of course. Probably something like, say, 24 by 16 inches. But it would take probably a couple of hours. So it would have to be done in 2 or 3 parts, because people... Well, my daughter mentioned some time ago, she's got a lot of friends who watch me on their iPhones and iPads and so on. But they're quite busy, well, very busy people, and they don't have the time to watch the whole videos. But some of you do have the time to watch full-length videos. It's an entertainment, isn't it? Something you can put on while you're having your dinner or something. It's always there. And that might... So I really paint for those that are studying, well, not studying, but wanting to learn to paint themselves and have the time to watch our videos. Don't know if that shows. Okay, you can overdo this. I'm just filling in for time. And I just want to get a bit of dark in there, a bit of dark shadow. My tea's gone cold nearly. Usually start with a cup of tea. Let's have a bit of blue, a bit of Payne's grey, a bit of mud. Very gentle. Just giving some undergrowth in this. Now this will soak in, but add to the general effect. And I just want to get some of that colour there, that warm. And now, don't want it to look as if they're two different sides. Okay. Right, I think if I blow on it with my mouth it would dry it. It won't. So while we're at it, we're still damp, so there's loads of water in the paper. I'll put in a couple of, well, I'll put in a flock, cover those, cover these. Right, that's them. Just put in some rough stuff. this will all bleed in. It'll get lost, I think. Don't overdo it. Right, I'll use this sable, this number 5 sable, and just put in a bit of shadow. Wetter than that. Just a touch of light red in it. Just adds that little bit of character. Let's just a bit of a dry brush up there, and carry it on behind some of this. Okay, I would like to put in a little man, but I haven't got anywhere to put in where it would register. And a fence, but I think I will lose it. Well, we tried anyway. So let's have a bit of burnt umber and a bit of blue. That's good fence colour. When you do fences, just put in bits of them. Don't go wild with them. But just the objects in the landscape, nothing more. And don't put it all in. Just lost and found. There's the art. There's the thing. It's there, but it's not quite there. It's just a hint. Oh, crumbs. More than a hint, isn't there? Right, okay. And then to rest on there. Because these are nearer. Not quite there, but there. Right, okay. I'm never going to get a figure in there. It's just too difficult. So I'm going to let that one go as a Saturday morning rehearsal for maybe something later on. Okay, folks. I've still got another 72 minutes left in this camera, but I think that our electricity is going to be off for at least 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. Okay, well, I'll put in a mount and we'll have a look at it. I'll just put a bit of masking tape just to hold the picture. Oh, there we are. Not too bad, is it? Quite pleasing, quite pleasant. Don't think that really worked. It's a bit too heavy there. But we know what we can do with that. We can just get a bit of dark and just go over that. A bit of water on the brush though. Okay, that. Right, I'll see you later, folks. Thanks for watching. Not good there, is it really? Okay, zoom out. Great boom from Fred Gillespie, making me this months ago now, and it's done really, really well. Very pleased with it. Thanks for looking in. Bye bye.